Welcome to today's episode. We are going to be talking about rejection. It hurts so bad when you are rejected. And I recently experienced some of this in the business world. Rarely do I experience it romantically, not true, but it was painful. I sent a proposal to my dream client and it didn't land. I messed it up. I fumbled the ball and then I cried for real. And then I got over it. And now I am processing that rejection by learning about how to deal with it gracefully and sharing that with you, beautiful people. All right. So if rejection still messes with you, you're probably not making the income you want because you're not putting yourself out there, because you're afraid of no's. You don't know what to do when rejection happens. So you just stay like this, all hidden. And that doesn't serve you very well. So what rejection really is different from what it's in our head. Sometimes we take it so personally. So it's data. Rejection is data about your positioning, and you got to work through your offer. You got to work through your positioning. So by the end of this video, hopefully rejection won't feel personal anymore, and it'll just be something that you actually look forward to, believe it or not. So the way that you reframe rejection starts here. Now, just to encourage you a little bit, there are a lot of famous people who were rejected, like over and over and over again. J.K. Rowling, she's like a billionaire now with Harry Potter. The Beatles were rejected. They had multiple labels say no thank you. And there was one executive who said that guitar bands are on the way out. Little did he know. So it wasn't about their talent. It was about the rejector's current belief system. So entrepreneurs, same thing. You can't take this personally. You got to think about like, okay, what does my person that I'm pitching to, what do they currently believe? And how do I move them to a place where they actually believe in my offer? And I love the example of Sarah Blakely. I think she was the first self-made female billionaire. Or was that Oprah? She was one of them. Like one of the first self-made female billionaires. And she created Spanx. Most men don't know what Spanx are, but all the women do. And she had manufacturers laugh at her. They laughed her out of the room. Rejection after rejection after rejection. So she wouldn't get funding. The people wouldn't give her funding. And so she just started on her own. So she saved up $5,000. She financed her own business and she never accepted money from investors ever. It was 100% self-finance because people rejected her. So you need to believe in yourself. The Beatles, Sarah Blakely, Spanx. The product was not bad. The product was good, but the other people, they didn't understand it yet. So you gotta realize that all these famous people, if they had internalized the no's, we wouldn't have the Beatles music. Can you imagine life without Eleanor Rigby? Maybe you can. I love that song. Like they have produced so much beauty in the world because they believed in themselves. And there would be a lot of unattractive rear ends if it weren't for Spanx. So these people changed the world and they added a lot of joy to the world because they believed in themselves. On the entrepreneurial, again, another example, Howard Schultz. Howard Schultz is the guy that created Starbucks. There's a Starbucks on freaking every corner. And he was rejected over 200 times. 200 times trying to raise money for Starbucks, but the investors didn't get it. They didn't trust it. They were like, no, premium coffee, America, it doesn't work. Not gonna invest in it. So most rejection is fear wearing a suit. So you got the investor, the client, the person on the other end, they're afraid of something. And that's why they're rejecting you. So you got to pinpoint like what that fear might be and overcome it and alleviate it. Another example, Oprah. Oprah was rejected a whole bunch. She was fired earlier in her career. They told her she wasn't fit for television. Oprah, not fit for television. Pretty incredible. Another female billionaire. So you got to believe in yourself. The market does not reject people. It rejects offers in their current form. So if your offer got rejected, you need to work on that sucker and represent it. Just work it. So the hardest part about rejection isn't the no, it's being alone with the story that you tell yourself after you got the no. Oh man, did I feel this week. Maybe I shouldn't overshare on the internet, but I had a client that I pitched a proposal to, and I think I asked for too much money. I know I did. And it got rejected. And we never talked about it. There was no like conversation like, well, can you do this figure instead? It was just, I don't know if it was an offensive amount of money, but I was responding to my fear. Like I made an offer that was too expensive because of my fears, because in my past, I have undercharged people and had my time stolen from me. And I undercharged people, and then they didn't value my work because people value what they pay for. You know what I mean? Like when it costs more, then they value it more. And I wanted to be valued because I'm sick of being underestimated. I'm so tired of being underestimated. And so that's where I was coming from. That was my emotional game plan in my proposal, was to make sure I would be valued. This is what I'm worth. This is, but it triggered a fear in my client, my would-be client. So such an emotional game business. It's so you got to work through that. And I did cry. I'm not ashamed of that. I've cried before, whatever. And then I got over it. I'm laughing about it now, but I think also you have to address your fear of visibility and rising to the top too. Well, maybe that's another video. This one's about rejection. Stay tuned for the next one, okay? So the thing about rejection is it's an invitation to tweak. You got to tweak your offer. Maybe you have bad breath when you pitched it. Maybe it's you were nervous when you pitched it. Maybe you were oversharing your too much personal information when you pitched it. Maybe the price is too high. Maybe the price was too low and they don't trust you to be able to do a good job, because that happens too. Is like you price it too low and they're like, I don't want the crap, like if you don't want the cheapest hotel, right? You don't really, it might be kind of a bad quality hotel. So getting the pricing right is like a whole big deal in terms of trustworthiness. And I'll tell you a reframe that helped me in all my researching this stuff was, if you seek out the no's, if you aim for a high number of rejections, then you will not only improve, but you will increase your business and increase your clientele because of the fact that you're just putting yourself out there. And so every time you start a conversation with someone, every time you initiate a conversation about your offer, you are increasing the chances that you'll get a yes. So if you set a goal for 20 rejections in the next week, well, you're certainly increasing your chances of a yes because you're aiming for 20, because you're actually going after the 20 no's. But if you're so terrified of the no to begin with, then how will you ever get a yes? So this is my new goal, is I'm aiming for no's. I'm celebrating the no's. Hope that's helpful. So I built a community called Brand Therapy. It's a Skool community for entrepreneurs. If you're pitching, selling, putting yourself out there, and you want real feedback, so you want a place where you can throw things on the wall and get other people's feedback before you pitch to the people that matter, this community is for you. And if this video helped you reframe rejection, then maybe you belong in our brand therapy group. No pressure, it's just support. So rejection doesn't mean stop, it means adjust. And if you can do that without spiraling, if you can keep your nervous system chill and keep going, wipe the tears, and then stay focused, then you're winning. And I wish you all the best of luck. Keep your chin up. You're a rock star. You know that you have something valuable to offer the world, and you're going to succeed. All you got to do is adjust and keep going. All right.